Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video where today we return with round 7 of season 3 of the F124 driver career mode. Yes, we're back this weekend here for the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix. Ferrari is back home for the first of 2 races this season, and yes, obviously if you missed out on the video that went live a couple of days ago from Miami, I would highly recommend going back and checking it out. Of course, so far we've had a lot of highs, we've had a lot of ups and downs over the course of the year, but Charles Leclerc, our teammate, really has been the stronger of the Ferrari duo, and that's proven in the driver's table. He has got a 46-point lead at the top now. We've only got an 18-point buffer over Max Verstappen behind us after we had our first non-podium finish of the year last time round at Miami. Charles hasn't finished lower than 2nd so far this year. His brutal consistency early on in this campaign has been absolutely astonishing. But of course, as well, if you're new around here, please do make sure to leave a like, get yourself subscribed to the channel. As well, I just want to say a massive thank you for all of you on the support so far on F1 Manager 24. Obviously, there'll be a link down below to Map 2 and 2 Plays if you want to go check out more of that game as well. It is so much fun. I really am planning on doing a lot more with it in the coming weeks and months. But yeah, let's head out then here onto the Imola circuit. Hopefully we can try and bring Ferrari home success around the circuit named after their owner.
Hello and welcome to Imola, the home of Ferrari, the home of the Tifosi. We're about to get ready for practice and it's great to have you with us.
Well, I've got to admit, it is very, very special coming back to this circuit, especially when you're racing in one of those Ferrari cars. I know this place isn't quite as special as Monza for the Tifosi, but having been here before and having experienced the Italian crowd at both of these circuits, Imola, certainly when you were on the ground, felt just as special a place to be as the Temple of Speed as well. And of course, this track as well, actually, has been a really good one for me so far inside F124. We've had a lot of good pace around this circuit, so I'm hoping this weekend maybe we can just try and carve down that gap to Charles Leclerc. We haven't beat him since round 3 back in Albert Park, Australia, so would be nice to get the jump on him again, but we'll wait and see as to how things get on. Making our way then rounding the final couple of corners. Just got to be really, really careful with the tyre life. The Delta looks very, very good though. That's going to be our first purple score of the weekend. That is a fantastic start. But it's always ideal when you get to a qualifying simulation run, especially obviously on a track like Imola where it is so important that you get the laps hooked up. It's old school. It is brutal around this venue. Out in the final corner, free practice is going to be a pretty plain sailing affair for us here. Let's head into qualifying.
Welcome to the circuit named for Ferrari. It is qualifying at a special arena for motorsport. Welcome to Imola.
Well, we are back to a normal qualifying session then here around the Emilia Romagna circuit. Obviously, I had no idea when I would do those sprint qualifyings as to how they would go in those last couple of weekends, but I'm really happy to see that you guys were a fan of that style. So one-shot quali is definitely here to stay in those sprint weekends. But yeah, normally, of course, we want to try and ramp up to that big final lap in Q3 around the other Grand Prix venues as well. They're in this place, certainly one of the more special ones. Normally now, we're able to make it through Q1 on just one set of the mediums quite comfortably. But yeah, obviously, we're trying to carry as many sets of softs further into the qualifying session as we possibly can. Top times, I would have thought, will be kind of around the mid to high 13s. Again, it has been something we spoke about so much this year. The ramp up we seem to get as qualifying unfolds and grip continues to improve. There is Oscar Piastri. Not a bad lap in that McLaren. This certainly doesn't look like their best circuit in the world. Obviously, this track is a lot about how the car balances itself out over the curbs. Of course, before next time out, we head to the bumpiest track probably of them all at the Monaco Grand Prix circuit. Just a couple more corners to go. Shut the car into the first one and try and keep it planted through the second one as well. Up on the run towards the start-finish line then. What is the time going to be on the board? 14.4. We go quicker than Russell and Piastri, but not by a huge amount. Well, there we go at the end of Q1. It is just your big 5 teams here that make it through into the final session. Less than a 10th in it between myself and Charles Leclerc, as McLaren and Red Bull, as well as George Russell, 13 thousandths of a second there, covering 4 cars. Just a little bit further behind is rather impressive. Another good showing by Williams there, 11th and 12th on the grid, 1,000th of a second between Behrman and Alex Albon. The margins are fine here, but can we deliver when the pressure is at an all-time high? Right, here we go then. First run in Q3, about to get started as we try and plant the power out of the final corner. I mean, it's even just the little things, like the fact the curbs around here are Italian flags as well, and I'm sure this car has got a few littered around it as well. Maybe not as many as it's got HP logos, but that is by the by there as we plant the car through the first couple of corners. A little bit understeery on the way into the first part there. Kind of compromised our run through the second. See a few of the turns as well around this place named after famous Ferrari drivers. That chicane, obviously the Gilles Villeneuve chicane. The one driver, Enzo Ferrari, truly did admire and would have classified as one of his friends. Enzo, rather famously, he did said you should never be friends with racing drivers because they'll usually end up dying on you, and, well, it's quite a morbid take, but, you know, that was the nature of motorsport in general back in the day there, as we're 13 thousandths up there on Alonso right now. He's usually this final sector, though, but we'll really come alive. This car really does sit through that chicane very, very nicely there. That would allow us to try and roll on the power down in towards the final couple of turns. No idea what the benchmark we're chasing is, to be honest, while I would assume it is Charles Leclerc. That in the final corner we go. Verstappen took pole last weekend. Maybe hasn't quite got as much of a look in this time round. 14-0. We go P1, but Leclerc is only in P4. Ever since Lando Norris got that podium back at Suzuka, he's suddenly seemingly remembered that he's actually got a pretty decent Formula 1 car underneath him, and he is our closest threat as we make our way then to start our last lap here at Anger. I would love, at the very first time of asking, to claim pole position for Ferrari on home soil, but we have really got to try and get the lap nailed. For all we know, the last lap we did might well be enough here, as the AI all seem very, very bunched up through the first couple of corners. We've got to focus on our lines, but we just want to double check that no one else seems to be going quicker than us. We chuck the car down through the second chicane. I think we've done enough anyway, but we are still purple in Sector 1. Another 10th and a half up is really, really good. In fact, another quarter of a second up as we make our way up the hill then. So could we be on for one of the laps of the season here? Normally qualifying has been separated by, you know, a tenth or two, but at the moment we've already got a 10th and a half in the back pocket, and we are finding time as the lap unfolds there. Half a second up as we make our way out of Aqua Minerale. As long as we can keep the car planted through the chicane, which we just about will. A little bit aggressive on the entry, but we gather up the time on the exit there. We are going to be comfortably clear at the front of the field. Just two more corners to go, tipping in through the first. Allow the car to drift out, get it tucked in for the second. Little dip of the gravel on the way out. It's going to be the only small error on that lap. It's a 1:13.6. It is P1.
Good job, mate. Really, really well done. That was a fantastic drive. Bring it home.
Well, I believe that's the first time this year Charles Leclerc hasn't started on the front row inside this series, but we aren't going to knock it. P1 by half a second ahead of Lando Norris there come the end of qualifying. Charles Leclerc, I'm sure, gutted to be 8 tenths back, but in our first time ever for Ferrari at home, we've taken the pole position. Can we convert this one into victory?
Welcome once again to the Autodromo Internazionale Enzo and Dino Ferrari. The clue is in the name. This is very much Ferrari home turf, and the locals will be out in force today to support their team in what we hope will be a magnificent spectacle of motorsport. On then to the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix. A lap of Imola, anti-clockwise of course, unlike most Formula 1 circuits, will take our drivers round 3.1 miles of track. 19 turns, 9 right-handers and 10 left. Drivers will need to be precise at the hairpin turn 7, given the subsequent uphill section. Without a good exit from that corner, they'll lose a lot of time on that stretch. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Mr. Monaco lines up on pole position, edging out Lando Norris, who'll start from P2. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Leclerc, Perez, Hamilton, Fernando Alonso, Russell, Oscar Piastri, Stroll, Albon, Behrman, Hulkenberg, Tsunoda, Ricciardo, Gasly, Ocon, Joe, Sainz and Frederic Vesti. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out then. Let's see who can prevail today. Welcome to the commentary box. I'm Alex Jakes. Alongside me, a real authority on all things motor racing. It's a warm welcome back to Anthony Davidson. So they've got lots of team members to get to know, to win over, and to get working for them. How do you go about doing that?
You know, it's new for yourself when you arrive maybe into a new team, or you might be an established driver or a rookie. It doesn't matter. Getting to know a whole group of people, a team that works around you, it's vital to get the best out of each other. And in that return, your performance on track improves as well.
Okay, as you know, this is the team's home race, which means it's extra important for everybody in this team. They've got friends here, they've got family here, they're all in the grandstands watching. So let's go and put on a good show for them.
Well, as Formula 1 is back in Europe this weekend, there is a huge opportunity to start trying to bring the momentum back in our favour here. And, you know, as we heard there, Anthony Davidson, finally, it looks like this game is patched and he's going to talk us through anything else that isn't his pre-race rituals as well there, which is absolutely fantastic news in my head. We're going to go 2 laps extra fuel. It is meant to be sunny skies throughout the afternoon here from Imola, but we just need to try and get a good run down towards turn 1. We're kind of aimed at the grass. It's a little bit strange, but waiting then on the grid, it is 5 red lights here for the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix. And he's going to be lights out, and away we go there. And oh, we have not got off to a good getaway then. Neither, though, was Lando Norris. Charles Leclerc! Where has Charles Leclerc come from immediately? Straight up from 4th place on the grid to the lead down at turn 1 for our teammate. And he might have had a bad run on Saturday, but he has immediately put that to rest on Sunday here. From 4th to 1st, I've never seen the air get that good hookup inside this game. And, well, we had a bad start. Lando Norris had a bad start. I don't think Verstappen did much better either. Norris actually opted to start on the hard compound tyre, so that would explain why he had such a bad traction down towards turn 1. From 2nd on the grid to 4th for him. We go from 1st on the grid down to 2nd, but Charles Leclerc immediately reminding all of us, 8 tenths off in qualifying. That's not going to be the same in the race. He is here to fight still, and he wants to win. Of course, Ferrari, they have won this race before, I believe, inside this series. But yeah, obviously the last real-life win here at Imola was all the way back in 2006, courtesy of Michael Schumacher. It's been a long time waiting. Admittedly, this track hasn't been on the calendar, but I'm sure both Charles and I, especially when you consider the title ramifications, would like to make sure that each of us gets that win today. And of course, as always as well, your top 3 at the end of lap 1, Leclerc, myself and Verstappen.
This lap, we can use DRS when you're within 1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone.
Yeah, Leclerc, myself and Max Verstappen one way around or another there, but the Dutchman already is 1.2 seconds back, so we might be able to try and get him out of the range and leave him vulnerable to Lando. Well, let's ride on board then with Charles Leclerc here and just see how he was able to take that lead before we even made it down turn 1. The 5 red lights come on. He just balances the revs beautifully there. Verstappen goes nowhere. Norris goes nowhere. I go nowhere either. So Charles Leclerc, to be honest, it was pretty easy for him. We do actually able to give him a little bit of a fight down in towards that first corner, but our Monegasque teammate straight up into the lead then off the start of this one. And, well, qualifying was a disaster. The same can't be said for the start. Right, here we go then. Imola still has one of the longer DRS zones on the Formula 1 calendar. You do only get the 1 around this venue, so you've got to make it count. New fast lap of the day. Thank you very much. As well, put alongside Charles. Looks like he's running a little bit less downforce.
Keep taking care of them.
We will be able to slip back through, though, up into the lead of the Grand Prix. So, oh, no, not by doing that, I won't. Oh, we put Charles in the gravel. That was not what I wanted to do there. Well, I think we'll back out down in towards turn 4. That could have been an absolute disaster here early on in the Grand Prix. There was definitely a small amount of contact, but we both lived to tell the tale. And now we have got to be careful of Max Verstappen as well. Red Bull just starting to slowly bring in more and more upgrades to try and match the pace of this Ferrari car. Are we going to see them a little bit quicker in a straight line this weekend? So once again, we're going to try and utilise the DRS to get a run on our teammate. I'll just make sure we keep a little bit more out of trouble this time round, though, as to the outside. Ready for turn 1, trying to save up battery where we can. We will just about slip through and into the lead then. And this time round, we'll actually hold on to it as well. That could have been absolute carnage here. And that's the kind of incident that, had that gone sour, you lose all kind of support within your team. Well, I guess this is going to be a good indicator. See what...
That's a new fastest lap of the race.
See what Charles Leclerc's pace is like down this front straight. You can definitely see he's got a pace advantage over myself. That time around, though, not close enough to really have a look. I think, yeah, the AI, this is one of the weird tracks where they don't run enough downforce, and they really do tend to struggle as you get into race trim. So as long as we can just keep building up small margins, Leclerc might not be able to get close enough. Oh yeah, that time around we haven't done a good enough job to keep Leclerc at bay. As we make our way back down towards turn 1 then, I think our teammate is going to get the run on me here. Which way is he going to go? To the outside. And again, you can just see there, I mean, Verstappen, he gets a good show to watch the Ferrari civil war unfold.
Right, let's go. Let's try and get past them and put them on the back foot. Push, push.
Yeah, it really did feel like in both of these sprint weekends, you know, Ferrari didn't really play into our hands. Charles Leclerc still the #1 driver within the team, and you can understand that looking at the championship table, that things could be very, very different here early on in the campaign. Verstappen has got to try and use that to his advantage, a bit like Raikkonen did for Ferrari back in 2007. Of course, the last time Ferrari won the Drivers' World title back in 2007. But surely, Charleroi this year at least is going to be able to fight it out. Well, I'm not quite sure Ferrari are giving us the Fernando is faster than you treatment, but they have told me I need to get back past Charles here, so that's exactly what I'm going to do.
You hit that target. Really good job.
Got to be careful with the battery management around this venue. It is not one that is easy to balance throughout the course of a race. So just trying to make sure we don't use too much charge early on. Oh no. Oh no! We've got a gearbox failure! No! This is a really odd one.
Gearbox issues, I'm afraid. Watch out for jams and misgears.
Out of nowhere. That's the second time I've had that at Imola on this game. Never had a gearbox failure before. But before it's even really begun, we are out of the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix. And I'm really starting to wonder, are Ferrari doing something fishy in the background?
Out of the final corner for the final time, Max Verstappen takes the win.
Well, he's clearly been given the car now, hasn't he, to showcase his talents. We always knew Verstappen had the speed, of course, but what a dominant performance that was today. Really now at one with the car.
Red Bull are our winners today after showcasing some incredible driving. There's been a huge push from them lately to stay competitive with the other teams, and they're certainly proving themselves.
Well, there we go. Max Verstappen on the weekend where I said Ferrari, this was the one I'm sure we wanted to win. The Dutchman goes and takes it and becomes our second repeat winner of the year there. Charles Leclerc just didn't quite have the pace ultimately to keep the Dutchman at bay. Maybe had to manage in his car as well after those gearbox issues. But I cannot believe the second weekend in a row that we've had a mechanical failure there. Our Ferrari just starting to sabotage me just a little bit inside this series. Only time will tell. Lando Norris, though, gets a podium ahead of George Russell and Lewis Hamilton there, with Alonso, Perez, Piastri, Stroll, and Carlos Sainz rounding out the top 10 there. Sainz a really good recovery drive from 19th on the grid to 11th come the flag. And that means championship-wise, 64 now, the gap to Charles Leclerc. Verstappen's ahead of me again, so we are down to P3 as well. It is really not looking good early on this season, and Charles Leclerc, unless reliability comes back to bite him at some point, just looks like he's going to continue to inch away there. Oscar Piastri still ahead of Norris and Alonso there. We've actually got a really good fight from 4th down to 9th overall in the drivers' table. But yeah, it is still the 2 McLarens ahead of Alonso, Perez, and the 2 Mercs there. And I think, yeah, still obviously only those 4 drivers at the bottom of the field yet to score. Constructors-wise, we do still maintain a 100-point lead over Red Bull as well. But yeah, questions have surely got to be raised with the team. Obviously, as well, to avoid spoilers, I'm going to make sure, obviously, there's just, like, the thumbnail for the rest of the video. But, obviously, just to make sure the people, when they click on it, don't know what's happens. But yeah, really, really gutted with that one. I guess we'll have to try and come back stronger next time out as we head to the duel in the Formula 1 crown. We will be back for the Monaco Grand Prix.